Draw My Life, Tree Edition. I was born in the midst of flames. My mother died at childbirth, and slowly everyone around her started to die too. I lived in one of these pine cones, and when my mother dropped me from her arms, she caught on fire, and I was on the ground alone. Everything burned, and I was let free, but soon enough, I knew I'd have a new family. For many years, I grew, and everyone around me grew too. It took a really long time for my friends and me to be very grown. I'm a habitat for many other creatures, such as ants and birds. I have a mutual relationship with Larry. He's the lichen that grows on me. My tree family and I went through photosynthesis, where we take the warm sunlight and make it into yummy carbohydrates. Through this process, I lived a happy and healthy life. But one day that all changed, and my family began to disappear. Suddenly, I was the only tree left. A bad company named BTC was clear-cutting the forest. I knew I was next, and Larry and I were scared. What would become of us? Would I become paper? Lumber? Firewood? I knew they were coming for me next, and the shrubs around me looked scared, knowing I'd leave soon. But I never stopped hoping. One day I was standing alone, waiting to be taken away, and I knew they'd leave my feet stuck and take the rest of me. I saw them coming. A shadow cast over me, and I was scared. I waited for the sound of the chopper, but silence. I was being lifted out of the ground, but this time was different because my feet came with me. I was placed in a big truck and moved down the road towards a house. Where was I going? Who were these people? What would they do with me? I was really scared, but I started moving towards a house. Some humans lifted me and put me into a garden and covered my feet with soil. I was alive again, just in a different home. I spent many hours being watched by a cute little man in a nice shirt and tie. He looked at me lovingly and collected my pine cones. He said he would take them and replant all of my tree friends into the forest. He took me and my pine cones so that evil BTC wouldn't chop me down first. Thanks to this man, Mr. Singh, I grew big and tall. During the winter, every year, he would even come outside and wrap me with sparkly lights to celebrate with me. I started to see the new trees growing in the forest he had planted. I was really excited to see that he had planted the pine cones. He taught me about the forest and read to me. He was very smart about the trees and environmental science. He even introduced me to his friends, Mr. Dubasi and Miss Barilli. They taught me many good things too. Oh, and who could forget Joey? This was Mr. Singh's best friend. Together we lived in his garden. We were so happy, and he continued to teach me new things. We lived happily ever after.